Hello, navigators. Our portal has opened back up today on the foggy shores of Lake Champlain.
What are we doing back here? We were just here last week, and I told you everything you need to know about it.
Well, we did learn a lot about Lake Champlain last week. That's true. However, I've been doing some research, and there's so much more to know about Lake Champlain than just its history. In fact, there's a lot going on here right now.
I'm sorry. Look at the lake. There's nothing going on. In fact, it's so foggy you can barely see it.
Well, that's mainly because it's winter. If you were here a couple of months ago when it was summer, you wouldn't see a crystal clear lake. You would see green lake, and that's because of an algae bloom.
A what?
An algae bloom.
What the heck is an algae bloom?
Take a look at this. Algae is a simple type of plant that doesn't have a stem or leaves like plants we think of, but it does go through photosynthesis to make energy like all other plants. For more on photosynthesis, check out the link in the Beyond the Peak resources down below. Algae is an important part of many water ecosystems. Remember, an ecosystem is an area where different living and non-living things rely on one another to survive and thrive. An algae bloom occurs when the algae grows out of control.
Wait, you just said that algae was an important part of the ecosystem. If it grows a lot, shouldn't that be a good thing?
Well, there's a couple problems with that. Have you ever heard the saying, you can never have too much of a good thing?
Exactly.
In nature, it turns out to not be so true. You see, an ecosystem is a balance, a delicate balance. And if something grows out of control, that means the whole ecosystem gets thrown off. And that's what happens in an algae bloom. The algae grows so quickly, so large, that the animals that eat it can't possibly keep it in check. When that happens, algae can cover the entire lake, so nothing you see is all green.
That can't be good.
It really isn't. For multiple reasons. First, the sunlight can't reach the other aquatic plants, or the other water plants. If they can't grow, the animals that rely on them for food can't eat. And if they can't eat, they'll either have to leave the ecosystem entirely, or they might die.
Wow. So, the entire ecosystem could break down because of this.
And unfortunately, that's not all. You see, algae blooms can also release toxic chemicals into the water. If that happens, all of the organisms are in danger. And it also endangers the lives of the 140,000 people who rely on this water for drinking.
Gosh, that really sounds terrible. There's got to be a way to stop the algae blooms. But how?
You ask an important question, Mr. C. Algae blooms happen when manure and chemical fertilizers run off of the land they're put onto and into a body of water. Here at Lake Champlain, the runoff happens as rain falls on the mountains. As the water slides down towards the bottom of the mountain, it picks up things around it, including that fertilizer. Fertilizer is filled with phosphorus, an algae superfood. So when the runoff gets to the lake, it makes the algae grow very quickly, very large. To stop the algae bloom from being such a big problem, you have to stop the runoff.
Well, I need to do something about this. How can I help?
Well, scientists and lawmakers are working together to figure out best ways to stop so much fertilizer with phosphorus from reaching lakes like Lake Champlain. But just like any problem in today's world, people need to know and care about how big a problem it is in order to get involved.
Navigators, I have an idea. What if we showed people just how bad an algae bloom could be? Say we start with a certain amount of algae and we show how fast it grows in a day or a week. And then we compare it to something like, soccer fields or swimming pools. And we try to show people just how big this problem is.
You know what? That's a great idea. I just saw here in my research that this is something the navigators will need to know. When algae comes in contact with phosphorus, it can double in size every 6 hours.
6 hours. So let's say we started with a 3 foot by 3 foot square of algae.
Okay.
And then let's see if we can figure out how big it would become in one day and then one week. Yeah, and then we'll compare it to something and see if that can really get some attention to this problem.
That is a great idea. Navigators, now it's up to you to climb this mountain. Remember that there are resources to help you along in the Seeking the Peak resources down below.
Come on, navigators, you can do it.
Good luck.